It didn't begin with a teaser. No countdown. No cryptic logo. No midnight drop. Instead, it began with numbers. Quietly, almost invisibly, the name Jungkook started climbing again. At first, it looked like noise, random fluctuations buried deep within global data streams. A slight increase in search queries. A few unexpected spikes in engagement across platforms. Old clips resurfacing. Fan edits gaining traction. Nothing unusual on its own. But together, it formed a pattern. And patterns, especially in the world of K-pop, are never accidental. Within days, Jungkook's digital footprint surged across TikTok, YouTube, and X. His name appeared repeatedly in trending lists across multiple countries. Not once, not twice, but consistently. And the strangest part? There was no official activity to explain it. No new song, no public appearance, no confirmed schedule, just silence. And yet, the numbers kept rising. In the past, success in the music industry was loud. Announcements were grand. Promotions were relentless. Comebacks were events designed to dominate attention. But by 2026, the rules had changed. Silence had become a strategy. Artists no longer needed to announce their presence. Instead, they let curiosity do the work. Algorithms replaced billboards. Engagement replaced advertisements. And in this new landscape, Jungkook wasn't just participating. He was dominating. Fans began noticing unusual shifts. Old performances, some dating back years, started trending again. Clips from concerts, live streams, and behind-the-scenes footage resurfaced as if pulled back into relevance by an invisible force. Even songs from his previous releases began climbing streaming charts once more. Not dramatically, not explosively, but steadily, deliberately, like something or someone was pushing them forward. To understand Jungkook's influence, one must understand the power of the fandom behind him. The global fanbase of BTS, known as ARMY, has long been recognized as one of the most organized and impactful communities in the digital world. They stream, they trend, they amplify. But even ARMY noticed something unusual this time. Because this didn't feel coordinated. There were no streaming parties announced. No organized campaigns. No fan-driven movements pushing a specific goal. And yet, the engagement was happening anyway. Organically. Unpredictably. Which led to a question that began circulating quietly within fan communities. If this isn't the fans, then what is causing it? In today's digital ecosystem, algorithms are the unseen gatekeepers of visibility. They decide what trends, what resurfaces, what goes viral. And in April 2026, the algorithm seemed to have made a decision. Jungkook was back. Content featuring him began appearing more frequently across recommendation feeds. Not just to fans, but to general audiences, casual listeners, even users who had never actively searched for him before. It was as if the system itself had shifted. And when algorithms shifted the scale, it is rarely random. Experts in digital analytics often point to a phenomenon known as pre-release momentum, a subtle buildup of engagement designed to test audience response before a major drop. Could this be one of those moments? If so, it would mean one thing. Something is coming. April 2026 is not just another month. It represents a transition. For Jungkook, and for BTS as a whole, it marks the period following military service, a phase known within the industry as one of the most crucial turning points in an artist's career. This is when identities are redefined, when strategies are recalibrated, when the next era begins. For Jungkook, the expectations are immense. His previous solo work didn't just succeed, it reshaped global perceptions of K-pop. It crossed borders, dominated charts, reached audiences far beyond traditional fan bases. So the question now isn't whether he will return. It's how. And more importantly, when. Fans began digging. Not aggressively, but instinctively. They revisited old content, past interviews, live streams. Moments that once felt ordinary suddenly carried new weight. A phrase, a look, a song choice. Individually, they meant nothing. Together, they started to feel like clues. Some pointed to possible collaborations. Others hinted at a shift in musical direction. A darker tone, a more global sound. Something bigger than what came before. Of course, none of it was confirmed. But confirmation in moments like this almost feels unnecessary. Because in the absence of answers, speculation becomes the story. No discussion about Jungkook's next move would be complete without considering the company behind him. HYBE is known for its precision, its timing, its ability to control narratives on a global scale, and perhaps most importantly, its silence. In April 2026, HYBE has made no official statements regarding Jungkook's increased digital presence. No teasers, no denials, no confirmations, which in itself is telling. Because in the world of K-pop, silence from an agency often speaks louder than any announcement. It suggests planning, coordination, control. It's not just fans paying attention. Industry insiders, producers, analysts, media outlets have begun noticing the same patterns. They see the numbers, the trends, the engagement, and they understand what it could mean. A return of this scale wouldn't just impact K-pop. It would ripple across the entire global music industry. Because Jungkook is no longer just a member of BTS. He is a standalone force. A global figure whose next move has the potential to reshape charts, influence trends, and redefine expectations. So where does that leave us? Is this surge organic? A natural resurgence driven by nostalgia and post-military curiosity? Or is it something more calculated? A carefully orchestrated build-up leading to a moment that hasn't arrived yet? The truth likely lies somewhere in between. Because in today's music landscape, authenticity and strategy often coexist. What feels spontaneous may be guided. What appears random may be timed. And what seems like silence may actually be the loudest signal of all. History has shown that the biggest moments rarely announce themselves. They build, quietly, gradually, inevitably, until one day, they arrive. And when they do, everything makes sense. Every spike, every trend, every unexplained surge. Looking at Jungkook's digital activity in April 2026, it's difficult to ignore the possibility that we are witnessing that build-up in real time. Not the event itself, but the moment before it. As the numbers continue to rise, one question refuses to disappear. What is Jungkook preparing? A new song? An album? A collaboration? A complete reinvention? No one knows. And perhaps that's the point. Because in an era where everything is instantly revealed, mystery has become the most powerful tool of all. And right now, Jungkook is surrounded by it. The digital world doesn't stay quiet for long. Sooner or later, something breaks the silence. An announcement, a teaser, a sound. And when that moment comes, the surge we're seeing now will no longer feel mysterious. It will feel inevitable. Until then, the numbers will keep rising. The speculation will keep growing. And the world will keep watching, waiting for the moment when silence finally turns into sound. And now everything leads here. Not to an announcement, not to a confirmation, but to a moment suspended in time where anticipation feels heavier than certainty. Because what we are witnessing in April 2026 isn't just a rise in numbers. It isn't just another trending cycle. It's a build-up. A quiet, controlled, almost invisible escalation surrounding Jungkook, one that refuses to follow the traditional rules of exposure, promotion, or timing. There are no posters on walls, no teasers counting down the hours, no headlines declaring what comes next. And yet, the world is already paying attention. The digital signals have done their job. They've created tension. They've sparked curiosity. They've pulled millions of eyes back to a name that never truly left, but is now being seen differently. More intensely, more deliberately, more globally than ever before. And somewhere behind that silence, behind the algorithms, behind the unexplained surge in attention, there is a decision waiting to be revealed. A project, a direction, a new era. Whether it arrives tomorrow, next week, or months from now doesn't change what's already happening. Because the impact has already begun. The industry is watching. Fans are analyzing. Media outlets are circling the same unanswered question. What is Jungkook about to do next? But perhaps the real story isn't the answer. Perhaps the real story is this moment, the rare, fleeting space where nothing has been announced, yet everything feels like it's already in motion. Because when the silence finally breaks, when the first note drops, the first image appears, the first word is spoken. All of this, every spike, every trend, every unexplained signal, will suddenly make sense. Until then, one thing remains certain. This isn't random. This isn't accidental. And this definitely isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of something the world hasn't seen yet. And when it arrives, it won't just be heard. It will be felt.